Some more overtime edition of Dash to the Desert on yourview.com. Vin Parisi alongside Scott Williams. And you won championships with the Chicago Bulls, but you were also a North Carolina Tar Heel for Dean Smith. And, you know, you talk about these programs in college basketball. One saying that's been in vogue recently, the last few years, has been the Butler way. Well, you know about the North Carolina way. Roy Williams, the current head coach, was an assistant coach when you played there for Dean Smith. What is the North Carolina way? You mentioned in this week's show that a lot of ex-players got together. Take us inside the North Carolina way.
We call it the Carolina family. And it's actually a real thing where guys care about one another off the court. And I think that started with Coach Smith back when he was at the helm, caring about guys more about how they were going to be young men in society and go on to lead productive lives than he did about winning and losing basketball games. And Williams was there for many years under Coach Smith, 10 years to be exact, understanding what that's all about. Having guys come back in a culture that we can help support one another has been the biggest thing. The basketball stuff is great. We love to win. We're as competitive any program out there, but we care about each other as individuals first.
You know, there's some programs to where the one coach that is there has been the history, like Coach K with Duke, Jim Boeheim with Syracuse. You know, I think back to UConn a couple of years ago when they won the championship, and it was interesting to hear how Kevin Ollie, what he took from Jim Calhoun and what he did different than a Jim Calhoun. From what you've seen and from what you've heard, where has maybe Roy Williams been similar to Dean Smith, and where has he kind of put his own stamp on this thing?
Well, I think he is very similar to the way Coach Smith taught the game of basketball, from the fundamental practices and so forth. Teaching the fundamentals was obviously the biggest key for Coach Smith, but I think he understands too that he's got a player in this day and age that they do things a little bit differently this generation. He allows them to have freedom of expression and realizes that I can roll the dice sometimes with this team, not have to micromanage every situation on the floor and let them play basketball. And sometimes it gets him in trouble with some of the media that are more traditionalist that say he should be doing X, Y, or Z. But you know, he keeps moving up in those brackets, and like I say, over the last 15 years now, he's got 48 wins in the brackets, far and away more than anybody else in college basketball.
And serious question, do you have a baby blue North Carolina t-shirt on underneath your suit like Superman? Could you go into a phone booth right now and rip it off?
Well, listen, we got in the gym yesterday. I got a bunch of my guys from the class of 1990, and one of them brought their old Carolina basketball for our shooting competition, so we're pretty serious about it. I want to show you my Carolina blue underwear on, and I was actually so superstitious before the show I decided I couldn't shave my goatee, so I'm letting that grow out. So I had a little bit of scruff, but I know it's going to help us in the victory tomorrow.
Great stuff, my man. Thanks so much for joining us. Some OT Edition, yourview.com.